got me on that one. Anyway, they're both terrible.
Right.
So I'm not happy with my Jetsies. They're embarrassing. They're going into London. I gotta wake up on. It's bad enough that I wake up on Sunday 9:30 a.m. here in New York, New Jersey, to watch a game in London against Sam freaking Darnold, the quarterback that they drafted. I think number 2 or 3 overall. What, in the 2018 draft? And then they ditched him real quick.
Yeah.
I have sort of a connection with Sam Darnold because I was the official reporter for the New York Jets in 2016, 2017. And I was lucky enough to cover Ryan Fitzpatrick in his second year. And they were supposed to go to the playoffs that year, but they ended up going like 5-11. The next year they drafted Sam Darnold. So my tenure with the Jets didn't end like very like, not, I wouldn't say gracefully. It was a hard experience. So when they drafted Sam Darnold, I'm not going to lie, I grew up a Giants fan. So when they drafted Sam Darnold and I wasn't working for the Jets anymore, I was like, all right, screw the Jets. You know, I'm rooting against Sammy. And it worked. Like they were god awful. I mean, the coaching, the Jets organization franchise doesn't know how to hire a head coach. It's beyond embarrassing, and it makes me distraught just thinking about it.
I mean, but do we really think Sam Darnold's going to be able to do this the rest of the year?
So my whole point here is, no matter if the Jets lose on Sunday in London against the Vikings, I will be happy for Sammy D, because the Jets treated him like shit, and he deserved better. And his rising in the QB rankings just shows you how bad they are at organizing anything positive.
I'd rather have Aaron Rodgers. Honestly, wouldn't you rather have Aaron Rodgers?
Yes, but this is it. That's why it's so stressful right now being a Jets fan, and you have so much anxiety because you just know the window is shrinking as you speak. It's like being a middle-aged 30-year-old. With a womb closed. It's like the clock is ticking, right?
Do you think
there's only so much time you have to win, and you have Rodgers this year, maybe next year if he even lasts. So there's a lot of pressure.
Maybe if he takes a little bit more ayahuasca,
they're going to go to London. They're going to win. They're going to get Devontae Adams. They're going to go to the playoffs. Everything's going to be fine.
Do you actually think they're going to get Devontae?
I think they're going to get Devontae.
I think that's the best spot.
I think that makes the most sense. But I want to get back to complaining about 9:30 in the morning waking up. You know what time we have to get up to watch the Jets play on Sunday? 6:30 in the morning.
Just don't go to bed.
6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I've actually never thought about that as an East Coaster. I wake up, I'm a late sleeper. You guys know me. I stay up late. We had our fun at the Sports Card Radio. And I still made it to
Shout out to
Fanatics
Colin and Ryan.
8 a.m.
Yep.
But I wake up on Sunday. I sleep in. It's my Sunday sauce day. I go in my kitchen. I make meatballs, brajol. I make sausage.
Ooh.
I make spaghetti. Yeah, no, my house smells like amazing.
Believe
it or not, you
delicious.
guys, I am very maternal. It's crazy. Or domesticated, I should say. And it just reminds me of childhood when I was growing up with my mom, and I would wake up to Sunday football and the smell of sausage and meatballs just like burning on the stove. It's an Italian Jersey thing. You wouldn't understand. But I sleep in till like 11 a.m. Sunday, 10:30, 11 a.m. If I went out the night before, 12:30 p.m. And then I wake up. And I still have plenty of time for 1 p.m. football.
So you're always thinking about lunch, dinner for football, where we're like thinking about breakfast, Bloody Marys, freaking bacon and eggs,
So like your East Coast games start at what time?
10 o'clock.
Woo!
Yeah. So this game will start at what, 7?
6:30.
6:30, yeah. 6:30 a.m.
6:30. You won't be. I hope you don't watch that.
I'll be watching it.
The second half, maybe, for me.
I'll be in there.
Yeah.
I'm
going to have to figure out what channel it's on, because it's an NFL Network game, right? So it'll, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? I'm
so.
too cheap for these days. I don't even want to give them my money. I'll have to find
one of the 17 streaming platforms you got to get now.
It's tough.
How do you guys feel about this? This is another thing that I think that technology has screwed us over as like the regular folk. Why are we paying for I have HBO, I have Netflix, I have Hulu, and this is someone that made I made no money on Netflix, but I gained a little bit of notoriety. But I think it's bullshit what we're doing now. We're spending more money for these platforms than what we were doing with regular cable broadcast TV. And I went to school at Syracuse to be a real journalist on network television, but network television doesn't exist anymore.
No.
So what we're going through now is we're all spending more money for every single freaking app that you have to buy. I think that we should be able to order every game like at McDonald's. Like go to a drive-through. I want to buy this NFL game for $4.99. I want to buy this.
Yeah.
Why can't we do that, Dan? I don't know.
I have no idea. I also think that if you're on a Netflix show, you should get a lifetime free subscription on Netflix.
Yeah,
right?
Even if you're on one episode.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, more like a lifetime anxiety attack.
So, I mean, Sam Darnold, would you say that people should start collecting his cards? Where do we think, to swing this back into the hobby, do we think there's some growth with Sam Darnold being on the Vikings?
All right, so let me ask you that question, because you guys probably know the hobby aspect of that more. Like they're 4-0, right? The only other team in the league right now that's 4-0 is the
Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
Yep.
But by the way, the Chiefs have looked absolutely freaking horrendous. They easily should be 2-2.
Yeah.
Without the refs' help, and by the way, I think that most of the players that play Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs, they just end up shitting the bed in the third and fourth quarter because they just know it's like God is going to do something or the refs are going to. So it's like this toxic cycle that the Chiefs keep having on their side. But I will say, I do think the Chiefs, this is their year to be beaten. So, and if they do three-peat, you guys, I don't know if you agree or disagree, I think that's on the rest of the NFL and the league for not taking advantage. This team has major holes, and not the good kind of holes, like bad holes.
Yeah, I hate them with a passion as a Niner fan. I hate them. So
Patrick Mahomes is the Niners' daddy.
He kind of is.
Don't you guys play them this regular season?
We
right?
do. Yeah.
The Rams don't get them, but the Niners get them
somehow.
I mean, they just played Herbert and the Chargers, and another game where they should have lost, but they found a way.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Falcons game. Kyle Pitts getting just absolutely manhandled in the end zone. I mean, no flag. I mean, yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. I mean, it's still early in the season though. It's September. They can win all the games they want early on, and you got to get hot at the end. That's why I'm saying your Jets are not out of it by any means. Like they get hot at the right time. They just get that momentum into the playoffs. I love Aaron Rodgers. I've always been a fan of Aaron Rodgers, even when he was, playing in Green Bay and beating the Rams. He beat the Rams in the playoffs. I don't know if he ever beat the Niners in the playoffs.
No, we liked Aaron.
Yeah. Do you actually love him, Dan, though, as a person? I mean, in my opinion, he's kind of
I root for him.
He's interesting, right?
Yeah,
I'm not into the conspiracy theories that he throws around and all that. Like, if you want to do your drugs, that's fine. We all do them. But
he's a character.
I don't like the weird. He gives me like cringe Joe Rogan vibes at times. But listen, he's my quarterback now, so I'm gonna root for him. And I also root for. He's a Hall of Famer, and I do think he deserves to go out on top. So obviously, I want him to go out on top no matter what.
He's a Northern California kid as well, so like he kind of grew up.
Oh yeah, he went to Cal. Right?
He went to Cal, and he grew up in like Chico, which is about 2.5 hours away from us in the Bay Area.
Yep.
So you guys are actually, Doug. You just showed me a photo. You're literally right outside of where the Niners play, right? Candlestick, is that what it's called?
Levi. It used to be Candlestick.
I wish they can go back to Candlestick.
Okay. So when I covered with the Jets, it was called Candlestick. All right.
Yeah, back at 2013. 2013 is when Levi.
2013 is when 2013 is when Levi opened.
Yeah, because we had a 10-year last year. Yep.
Never mind, I'm not that old. It was 2016, so it was Levi.
It was Levi.
Yeah. But everybody, the old stadium that the Niners played at was Candlestick, and I think a lot of people just refer to even Levi as Candlestick if you're not from the Bay Area.
Like, why am I still calling it Candlestick? That's so weird.
Because Candlestick was around for 60 years.
So the both of y'all are like locals to there. So you grew up Niners, what? Giants?
Well, he's a Rams fan.
I'm a Rams
Warriors.
fan. I'm a diehard Rams fan.
Okay.
But
Dan, you're a Rams fan.
I'm a Rams fan. Rams fan when they were in LA. Stayed a Rams fan when they went to St. Louis, and now they're back in LA. So
okay.
It's been a journey. Got a Super Bowl. Got a couple.
What about baseball?
Everything else on Bay Area. The only team that is not from the Bay Area that I follow is the Rams.
So you guys were both giant, like Barry Bonds, like
Bonds big time. Yep.
Barry Bonds.
That's my favorite baseball player of all time.
Tell me about that. That must have been so freaking electric. Because as a little girl, what year was that, you guys, that he broke the record?
2002.
Right. So I was like, I can do math, 12, 13 years old. And I remember vividly every time he came up, all the networks, all the channels would have him up on the screen here in New Jersey, in New York. And my father would sit me down being like, watch, this is history, this is history. So like, I can't even imagine what you guys experienced over there.
It was, yeah, even in the down years, it was like if you were at a game and the Giants were losing 10-0 and you know Barry was going to come up in the 8th, you would stay just to see his at bat. That's how it was. You'd never, any chance of Barry getting up, even there was a game that he pinch hit in where like there's a chance they might pinch hit him in the 9th.
You stay.
You just stay and watched him.
I mean, when he's due up, the concession stand's emptied. Everybody is like in their seat.
And
waiting.
back then, they didn't bring beers to the seats for whatever reason. It was a California thing, so you'd have to go to the concessions to get the beer. And so you would be like, "Well, I think he's going to be up in 10 minutes, so I'll wait to go get a beer or get food because he's going to bat."
I mean, there was years there where he would see 1 to 2 pitches in the strike zone a game. And, he had very few opportunities to actually hit the ball. And when he did get the opportunity, he would hit it 400 and something feet.
And that's why I call the Baseball Hall of Fame the Clown Show, because of Barry Bonds. So, because, you got the stats. If you want to take the stats away from him and say they don't count, I'm okay with that. But if we're going to have his stats in the record book, and I'm going to get on Bond's rant number.
Here we go.
Go ahead. I want to hear this because I can dive deeper into this.
If you want to have him being the single season home run leader and the most home runs of all time, he's got to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't care if he, you say he took steroids. A lot of people were taking steroids. If he wasn't nice to people, whatever, then get rid of his stats. I'll be fine with that. I'll be fine with erasing the stats. But to say that this man, how can I tell my kids that this guy led in all these stat categories, he's not in the Hall of Fame? How does that, that's what I don't understand.
Well, for one, you can tell them he cheated, and cheating isn't good.
Allegedly.
But I'm with you. Listen, I'm with you. Like, allegedly. No, he did cheat. A lot of people cheated. But you know what? Unfortunately, I think that Barry was so talented and so good that I don't even think that he needed the roids to get to where he was. I don't know. I don't know if you agree with me or not.
I agree with that. And it didn't help that he was a jerk to the media. Like from day one when he got into Major League Baseball, he wouldn't talk to anybody. He wouldn't give the media the time of day.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, the media and baseball writers it's their call who gets into the Hall of Fame. They're the ones who are casting the votes.
Yeah, and I think that needs to change dramatically, and we can talk about Pete Rose when we get there. But
I was about to allude to that, but I wanted to add in what do we think about A-Rod getting in? Because I'm pretty sure as baseball's golden, but A-Rod 100-game suspension for steroids, right?
Listen, as a Poppy fan, Poppy was never proven guilty.
Yeah,
neither was Bonds.
Yes, wasn't he?
No.
Really?
No.
So then how does that riddle me this? How does it make any sense that David Ortiz was inducted, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Then how was Ortiz inducted and Bonds wasn't? That doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
That's exactly it.
That's exactly it.
And A-Rod wasn't.
Not yet. Not for yet. But he's only had one chance.
But A-Rod will. He'll get in. That's my argument is that if you
I thought Bonds there was proof, and I thought
they tried.
No proof against
they
Poppy.
tried. There was a federal indictment on him.
Yeah, and his trainer did like 10 years of jail time.
Yeah, at Belco, I remember.
Right, but he wasn't going to talk, so he spent like 10 years in jail. So nobody actually ever admitted that he did it. Obviously his size is on display, but
Yeah, he came off season. There was one year where he put on 40 pounds of muscle, and
just been lifting.
Just a lot of putting in the work, putting in the extra work. You
can say the same thing about Sosa McGuire. That was what, 2 years before that?
Yeah, and that's why they say Barry did it, because Barry was on top, and then he's seen these guys going like, I got to even the playing field. Like, imagine me, I'm already the best player. Imagine me on steroids. We're gonna be on we're gonna be on God level.
Barry totally was like, move over, white boy. I got this. And I don't blame him for doing it. I really don't, because think about it. I kind of understand the pressure. I'm not making excuses.
Do you think I want to ask you a question. Do you think it's weird that me and Dan bought Barry Bonds game-worn pants from that season? Is that kind of weird? Is that a weird memorabilia item?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's freaking weird. But also,
I'm wearing them right now.
As long as you didn't smell them.
I got them on. I got them on under the jeans.
Wait, did you actually? Are they like mounted?
Yeah, it was
somewhere
from
in your wall?
Golden. Golden had that big Barry Bonds thing, and I bid on a
Oh,
lot of things.
right.
I bid on a
Yes.
lot of things, but that was one of the things I won for like $1,100.
You won the pantalones.
Were there any stains in any of the areas?
I don't think so. I didn't go dig that deep, but I was thinking about
No.
wearing them one day.
How much did you spend on that? I'm so
Like
curious.
$1,200.
$1,200 for one pair of his pantalones.
Yes, that he
During any
wore
specific
during the
game?
record-breaking season, but they don't have a specific game attached to it.
Gotcha.
And then I
Okay.
got an affidavit signed by himself saying that it was from that season.
Honestly, pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah,
if
cool,
he
yeah.
was your okay. So I grew up. I'm not a Yankees fan anymore. I grew up a Yankees fan. So if you could tell me, if you could tell me I could have Derek Jeter's pants at that time, I would have loved it. Now I think it's weird as a grown adult, but
Well, we just bought these
Sorry,
like 6 months ago.
I don't know if
so-
that was a dig at you.
No, it's
But
weird.
I
Kinda
get
weird,
it.
but-
Barry is.
It wasn't the number one item on our list, though.
Yeah, and I
It
don't,
was-
I'm not at a party, and that's one of the things I bring up, of course.
I don't
But
know,
like in the
Lance,
right
I think that
setting.
you can only go up. I think you can only go up with those pants, and here's why. Barry's, and you can say the same thing when we get to Pete Rose. We'll talk more into that.
Yeah.
Say the same thing about Pete Rose shit. Like he's not in the Hall of Fame yet, but once he gets to the Hall of Fame, so I think it was a good purchase. I really do.
Yeah, and I'm glad. Let's get right into Pete Rose. You have a great
Yeah.
viral video of him talking about batting 190, but he was talking about batting 190 at the age of 82. Amazing
Dude,
video.
3.3 million views.
That's
an all-time
insane.
record.
That is insane. What was it like?
That's
What
a
was
lot
it like?
of
What was
views.
it like being?
3.3 million.
Yeah, that's huge. That's insane. What was it like talking to him? What was his demeanor? Was he a super nice guy? Was it what you expected?
So, yeah, so I'm not gonna lie. This was the national this year in unfortunately it was in Cleveland. And this was day 3. So it was Saturday. So Pete had been there for 2 days before that, and I don't know if you guys watched his documentary. That's how he made his money, right? He went to these events and he took care of his fans and stuff, and he made appearances and blah blah blah. And he went to a lot of these signings, like at the National, and like would have been a Fanatics Fest type of event. And he did, thousands and thousands of signings, which, by the way, a lot of people said, I don't want to invest in Pete Rose because he signs too many things, too many collectibles, too many memorabilia, too many cards. But now apparently his prices are skyrocketing, and I always thought they would. But Pete, he came out, and I was with Celebrity Mint. I was working with this company called Celebrity Mint. I don't know if you guys know what they do, but they are now doing legal tendered trading cards / coins. I wish I was in arm's length distance to show you the coins. So they gave me gold and silver and a combination of them both cards of Pete Rose, and they had a little deal with him, and he signed everything, autoed everything, and then scripted a lot of it differently per card, which is awesome, like a unique inscription, a 101 type of thing. So I went into this interview originally for this company, which is an amazing company, just to interview him about those cards. But as you know, Pete Rose is a transcendent type of player / personality character. So the interview went completely off the rails, which is what I do all the time, as you can
It's our
tell.
style. Yeah,
interviewing
it's our
me for
style
the
too.
last
Yeah,
20 years.
100%.
But that's entertainment, right?
Yep.
So Pete entertained me, but I will say, and Ryan Fitterman, I don't know if you guys met Ryan Fitterman from Fitterman Sports, his manager, his agent, who is a friend of mine. Pete's his family. So our condolences to Ryan. He brought Pete in, and Pete could barely walk. Honestly,
geez, yeah.
this was when was the national? End of July.
Yeah.
So 2 months ago, he could barely walk. He was limping and and I felt really bad. And our interview was supposed to be the two of us standing up. So I don't know if you noticed in the video, I'm standing up and he's sitting. So I looked at my cameraman and I said, you got to go get him a chair. Like, there's no way he can stand during this. And I also don't want to make him endure that.
Exactly.
So he got him a stool. And I talked to Pete for about 10 minutes on camera and another 5 off camera. And he was very, very sweet, intelligent. I just wanted to take that baseball knowledge off his skin and rip it off and bring it to me. He reminded me of my grandfather, who also died at the age of 82, an old school, barrel, bottom of the barrel type guy that didn't necessarily have the greatest skills or strength, but worked their freaking ass off
Yep.
to get to the top and hustle, which is why I love Pete so much, because I feel like I'm the same way, like
Mhm.
I have to work for everything I get. Nothing really comes naturally for me. But anyway, long story short, Pete was awesome. I was just like really transcended through our interview because he just dropped so much knowledge. And at the same time, here I am interviewing this man that is a surefire Hall of Famer. He has
Yeah.
the most hits. You guys, everyone talks about him being the hit king, 4,256 hits. But no one talks about that he has the most games played in MLB history. And to me, that is, we all talk about who's the Iron Horse?
Cal Ripken, you're right. Because it was consecutive, but yeah, that's
yes. But the most game, he was never injured. I think Pete told me that he went 7 straight MLB seasons without missing an at bat, which is
It's
freaking
nuts.
insane. Which
And
is why I
the
called
way
him
that
Jello Man.
head first dive too, it was like it just sacrificed it. You don't even see people
Right.
slide that way anymore.
No, you see these guys put on their mitts, their other mitts now to slide
Yeah.
in a second and whatever. And I would do the same thing, but they're just built differently now, and it's a shame. It is a shame. Listen, I'm an advocate for Pete, but he fucked up
Yeah.
royally. He
Yeah.
royally fucked up. I think his biggest mistake was denying
Mhm.
instead of just owning up and admitting to his faults. But I will say he was banned. It was a lifetime ban. His life is now over, unfortunately. I think it will be lifted. But MLB sort of put themselves into a really shitty position because they're damned if they do, damned if they don't, right? Because if they do put him into the Hall of Fame now, it looks like they only did it because he's dead.
Mhm.
And it's sort of like in spite of him.
Yep.
But if they don't, they're still pissing off all the fans. And that's why my video, you guys, went so freaking viral. Because 95% of people support Pete and they want him in the Hall.
Yep.
Like they
Yep.
do. He's like he's the fans guy. Like he reminds the fans in my eyes of like anyone can do it as long as you work hard enough. That's why I think that my video went so viral. And before that video went viral, a month or 2 months ago, it hit 1 million views. So over the last 2 months, I've had 3 Pete Rose videos hit almost 6 million views.
Jeez.
People,
Wow.
he's such a polarizing
Yeah.
figure. He is such a polarizing figure. You either love him or you hate him. But I will say 95% of people freaking love that man.
I was gonna say I don't know anybody who's like screw Pete Rose. Also, do we think that he's gonna get in? Like he's gonna get in the Hall of Fame, but are they gonna put him in next year? Or are they gonna be like, well, we got to kind of wait a little bit? Like I wonder what the thought process is gonna be with that.
So that's the thing, right? It's very convoluted, right, Dan? It's
I
really,
mean, I think they'll put him in, but I think again it's going to be a waiting game. I don't know if it's going to be next year. It'll be sometime. It'll be sometime in the future.
It won't be next year.
It won't be.
Make MLB look too shitty.
It'll be too fresh. I mean, Major League Baseball doesn't want to. They don't want to send out that perspective that we were just literally waiting for him to die. And then
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it
Exactly.
just doesn't show class.
Yeah,
I
that's
think-
what I was wondering.
What I think, and I want to add one more thing, Doug. What we don't realize is, Pete was Pete, very polar. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Pete was Pete, a very polarizing figure. I said Pete reminds me of my grandfather, right? My grandfather also happened to be a very, very, very compulsive gambler. So compulsive that my grandmother, who is still alive, became like the president of Al-Anon, which is anti-gambling.
Yeah.
It's like the AA for
Mhm.
gamblers.
Mm-hmm.
Gambling is an addiction.
It is.
Yep.
Pete Rose was an addict.
Yep.
Okay. He didn't. It's different. There's a lot of people have been banned for things way worse.
Oh,
as
100%.
they should. But he was a gambling addict, and I think that anyone easily could. He then became the poster child, the poster boy for MLB and what not to do. And I actually think he did MLB a little bit of a favor because you don't see that happening anymore with the players. And now that MLB and all these other leagues are making a lot of their money.
Yeah,
off
I
of
was just gonna
gambling,
say
I
you
think
exactly went where I was thinking
there's
too.
nothing more hypocritical, right? So
We were just talking about it. The A's moved to Vegas, and I mean, DraftKings Arena. I mean, MGM Bet
There you
Arena. I mean, it's. I know that's not the players betting on it, but it's definitely a different turn than what this happened in 1989, where there's a little bit of hypocriticalness. To
I do think if Pete Rose would have came out in hindsight's 2020, if he would have came out
mhm.
right when it happened and said, "Hey, I got a problem. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna get help. I'm sorry, and admitted to it. I don't think they would have gave him the lifetime ban. I
Yeah.
think they would have been like,
Exactly.
we're gonna ban you, and we don't know how long we're gonna ban you for, but we're gonna play it by ear. And I think he would have been in the Hall of Fame probably 10, 15 years ago.
Couldn't agree more. But again, couldn't agree more with you, Dan. But again, as someone who comes from a family of addiction, who is someone who also battles it herself at times, not in terms of drugs or alcohol or any of that, but in terms of OCD and anxiety and all these different things. You're addicted to perfectionism.
Yep.
It is a battle that addicts face every freaking day. And the first stage of it is denial. Like, I don't have an issue. I don't have a problem. And when you're on such a world global stage that Pete Rose was as the hit king, um, I can see why he was so turned off by the idea of like coming out with the idea that, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm the hit king, but I also have flaws. So I can see why he struggled so much with it. Is it an excuse? No, he fucked up royally. But I do understand his side of the story. I understand why MLB did what they did, but I also don't think that MLB should continue doing it. I think that the ban should have been lifted a decade ago. And that's that. I think they wait. My prediction is MLB waits 4 to 7 years and then he's inducted.
Yeah,
again, if they do it now, it's embarrassing.
I
Yeah.
agree. In hindsight's 2020, but you could have had him like in the 90s or late 90s, be like an advocate against it and come out in front of players that are, and really,
really
kind of
good point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
also
why we didn't do that, but
I don't know if looking at the landscape of professional sports right now, like you were saying before, with all the gambling companies involved in it, I don't think Major League Baseball would have liked that either. Like that's a future partner of theirs.
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of revenue coming in from
Ridiculous.
FanDuel and DraftKings.
But in the
and
early
BetMGM.
2000s, it wasn't there. He could have been back on this screen, talking about what he did wrong and not to do it for other players.
100%. 100%.
I mean, you see Michael Vick, doing stuff with the
Oh
rookies.
God, I'm so glad you brought that up.
He's out there. Well, Michael Vick is at, like, we've been to several rookie premieres, the new rookies take their photos for cards and stuff like that. And Vick's been out there talking to the players like, don't do what I did, and that's
Come here, baby.
that's
He
something.
murdered Mike. Like,
I know. I'm not making any excuses as a dog owner
No.
myself. but
Doug owns a bunch of dogs.
Thank you for bringing that up, Douglas. Thank you. Because listen, betting on sports, yeah, it's shitty. Come here, Bella. But guess what's shittier? Murdering and electrocuting.
Yeah.
And hanging freaking dogs.
Yes.
I am so sorry. I am so sorry. It's a different league. Granted, it's a different league. But that is crazy town.
It is.
That we were not only were we able, yes, I get it. He did his time in prison for what, 5 years, 4 years?
I don't even think it was that. I think it was like a year. I think he was back on the
a
Eagles.
year,
Yeah.
and he did it in like the country club prison. We know that,
Yeah.
right? Because he's Michael Vick. And then he comes back, and now he's making millions on TV. So if we're able to forgive somebody for murdering animals,
Yeah.
how can we not forgive somebody, a man that made a mistake 40, how many years ago?
Yeah.
Yes, 40 years
Yeah.
ago.
It's crazy, right?
That did, by the way, Pete's mistake, was it morally sound? Absolutely not. But it did not affect anybody
Anybody's
else.
health or any life.
Did
yeah.
he, correct me if I'm wrong, both of you guys. Did he always bet on the Reds to win?
The tricky thing is that
They don't know that
He-
for sure, right?
he was also coaching the Reds. So when
Right.
you're in the situation of that type of like influence, when you're like coaching, then he can really figure out the outcome. If he's like, okay, I'm gonna this guy's got kind of a bum elbow. I'm gonna start him today, and then I'll bet against my team. But he did come out and say that he never bet for the Reds to lose.
That's
Now-
what I'm saying.
Now, I
Okay.
mean, is that true? Who knows? But he did come out and say after he admitted to betting on baseball, he was like, "But I never bet on the Reds to lose."
And I believe that. I mean,
I
Ezekiel
kinda-
was
I
right.
kinda-
do believe that.
I kind of believe that too.
I mean, that speaks to his work ethic, right? I mean, with all the hits, the amount of games he played, why would he ever want to bet against himself? I mean, he didn't bet against himself during his career. So,
What's so crazy is that, like, the man didn't need money, right? This is not me or you. Like,
Yeah.
I need the money. I could gamble all I want right now. During 2020, I showed a little bit of that addict. I gambled, you guys, I gambled more money on one football game than I made for that month. And that's where I said to myself, okay, well, here's your little bit of your gambling gene. Reel it the F in, girl. You going crazy. And I went down a spiral and spiral and spiral. So that's why I understand a little bit where Pete was. Now, granted, I'm not playing in that league that he did, but I can totally see how and why he got caught up in that. I really do think he's an addict. He
Yeah.
didn't need the money. He wanted the
rush.
endorphins,
Yep, yep,
exactly, to go
yep.
on in his brain. So.
Just like when you're in the casino at Vegas, right? I mean, it's that endorphin of trying to win that $1 million on that slot or blackjack or whatever your game is. There's so many avenues now. I mean, you got Prize Picks, you got DraftKings, you got sports books.
You got Tops. You got Tops now.
Yeah, you got Tops now. Waiting for that shipment to come in too. So, come on.
Can we talk about that, you guys, for a second?
Yeah.
How the hell is this Olympic LeBron Curry direct card not?
Yeah, where is it?
I know.
Where is it?
Where is it? Where is it?
Where is it?
All I know is I spent $75 and all I got was base shit. So
So did I.
I want to know where this damn card is.
Me too. I got 20 base cards. There was a couple guys on Twitter that I noticed that were like had lost packages, and they were filing claims with Topps. And Topps says they do have record of what was supposed to be in your package. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, what are the chances of that happening?
Can you imagine that?
Could you imagine if
No.
that
Can you
card
imagine
got
No, I
lost?
can't. There's no way. Okay, there's no way. Listen, I know a lot of these Topps people, and they're very smart. There's no way they're dumb enough to put that redemption card in a wouldn't you put that in a UPS like signature guarantee delivery?
You would think.
We just had a shipment that was FedEx that was overnighted, and it completely vanished. FedEx has no. I mean, we're talking signature, insurance, all that, and FedEx is like, we don't know where it's at. Like, we have no idea, and it was overnight. So
Wild.
like, to lose a package that was overnight like that, anything can happen.
But I'm assuming
Yeah.
the actual card is a redemption first.
Yeah.
It's a redemption. Yes.
So just the redemption, they wouldn't lose the card. They would lose the redemption.
They would lose the redemption.
I mean, it's wild. It's wild.
I mean, that being said, Topps still has it because the redemption hasn't been located, so it's still
Right.
still in
and
the.
Topps also knows who won the card, I should say.
well, and that's where we were talking.
They got to have a shipping. They got to have a shipping label that they sent the redemption to, so they do know where that redemption went and who is the rightful owner of that card.
We talked about this on the show, and I know there was 588,000 orders, and it'd be hard to facilitate. But I always thought, like, wouldn't it be cool, like, to go live on Fanatics Live or wherever, YouTube, and make a big grandiose show and do a random and name the winner live? You know,
Dude,
that's what
you're
I
reading
thought.
My mind.
You know what I mean? Like, then you could sell something else. Like, hey, those that missed out on this triple auto, guess what? We have the Steph Messi now. We're promoting this. Like,
Well,
there's so much more you could have
You
done.
go live and you're gonna have 150,000 people like tuning in. to
Yeah.
your brand. Like, it doesn't-
Remember what we used to? Well, you guys are in your early 40s, correct?
Correct.
42.
All right, I'm 35, so we're close to the same age. But I remember growing up, and remember the lotto every night at 6:00.
Yep.
They
Oh,
would
yeah.
do it, drawing those balls, right?
Yep,
Blah,
yep.
blah, blah. That is, and I will say this too, when I get in front of Mike Mahan or Nick Bell or Ruben, like, why not do that?
Yeah.
Draw the balls. That you want to 10x the hobby. There's a really good way to do that. Draw the balls live. Brings people to Fanatics Live, brings people to Topps website, all over social media, and you know exactly who won the freaking card. And if that person wants to remain anonymous, that's okay too. They can put a different name down or whatnot.
Sure.
But I think that's such a freaking good and like genius.
You could make it a
idea
whole
to help-
experience. You could have like somebody perform. Like you could have like a up and coming
I
artist.
would want to
you know.
host it, to be honest.
There you go. Hey, we
It would be great.
let's get Ruben on the phone. Let's get him in. Can we get Ruben?
Like-
oh, he's busy. He's busy right
Like-
now.
It was
like-
hard enough to get Alex on.
I'm not gonna lie. I
Get
don't
Ruben
like
on
yet.
here.
I don't want to be the girl that like does the ball roll. That's too much pressure. But I will announce the winner.
I mean, yeah, we got to do. I mean, they did that with the Wembanyama Green. They brought the 99 people down to
That's a
San
good idea.
Antonio.
Yeah.
But this
You're
would have
right,
been
they did do that.
588,000 eyeballs, or at least half of those would have tuned in. You know, so
Or
Did
what
you
about
guys buy into the Shohei LA?
I got 6
California guy?
boxes. Yeah.
I forgot. I missed the boat. I completely missed the boat.
Yeah, that's another thing. Why couldn't they have the Dynasty 101 game used thing could be an event? I mean, every time one of these comes out that's this magnitude of a like special milestone in somebody's career.
See, the crazy thing is that you actually let me know about that, and I thought they were coming out with a standalone Dynasty Black product.
Sure, that's what it looked like at
Mhm.
first.
That's what I was like. Oh, I'm like, that's cool.
I thought that too, Dan. I did.
And I'm like, and I do this every day of my life. So I'm like, either I'm terrible at reading and digesting content, or the way they presented it was not that great.
Could have been.
Probably a little bit
I
of both.
agree. I thought that it was, you know how Dynasty, they do the fancy stuff.
They do the Dynasty, and I was like, oh, they're coming out with Dynasty Black. That is awesome. It's going to be super expensive, but come to find out, it's just a one-off card that's
Of
part
just
of the Topps
Shohei,
now.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something that inside the industry, going off a little off topic here, that, things have been slower with certain products. So, of course, dealers, breakers are pointing fingers at, hey, you've got the manufacturer just taking in a bunch of money on their own. Is there enough money in the hobby to go towards motif football, Topps Chrome hobby basketball that everybody has, right? So, interesting perspective, but I guess if you're 10xing the hobby, there's room for that to go around. But,
I think they're casting such a wide net with the Topps Now cards that I think it's good for our industry. It is. I think it's definitely bringing in more people, without a doubt.
definitely.
Oh, a 1,000%.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you how many of my brothers, as much as I'm in the hobby, they know the hobby because of me. They're not into the hobby, but they are applying for like all these special. Hey, apply now and get 300 free packs from Topps. Hey, like buy in, $5.99 for a pack. You have a chance to win $1 million card, and you're not allowed to say the word gamble because it's not a gamble. You're putting in your money. It's pretty much the same thing as like winning a lottery ticket. But if you're a collector at the same time, you also get a special piece of cardboard history.
Sure. Yeah.
This is how I can spin it. My only advice to Topps would be to make it less of a little bit of a lottery gamble and make it more of there's a chance of you also collecting more of like collectible cards, right?
Yeah.
Because I will say it was disappointing just getting. I mean, and that's the way life works. Life is mostly disappointing, but I get it.
100%.
But like
But
my
at least
Olympic
you
cards, I
get
got 20.
something. You're
20
still
of the
getting something.
I got 20 of the same card, Doug, but I would have loved one or two different cards. You know what I'm saying? And they all came in that same plastic case. So as soon as I saw that plastic case, I knew that I didn't get anything good.
Did you know, and I did, as a person that lives and breathes this every day, did you know that the Topps Now logo, if it's a different color as an SP, even in those 20 card packs?
Wow, no.
See, I didn't know that
Even
either.
in the plastic case?
They have like
the
the
clear-
Topps Now logo could be red, white, or blue.
Okay, well now I have to go back and
Exactly.
look through my cards.
That's what I had to do, and I found like two or
Who's
three
this
of them.
baby?
This is Landon.
Hi, Landon.
He no nanny today, so he basically made his appearance on the podcast. Say hi, Alex.
Hi,
debut.
sweetheart. No, that's a blonde. That is not you, Dan.
I know, and
Are
my,
you sure
my
it's
wife
your child?
my wife has dark hair as well, so I don't know. We might have mixed them up at the hospital.
Yeah.
He also has light eyes too. I don't know.
What a
but
cutie.
yep.
So what? Okay. I should be good at this because all my friends have kids around this age right now. I would say what? He's 1.5.
he's he just gonna be 15 months.
All right, I'm getting there.
It's good.
I'm
That's
getting
Yeah,
there.
he
should be a contest for that.
he's
You'd win.
walking a little
No.
bit.
What was his first name? First word, I should say.
Dada.
Was it really?
Of course.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Of course.
He's lying.
It wasn't.
No,
it wasn't hobby.
No.
49ers.
No. It was
Who's that, Gary? Thanks for laughing at my stupid dad joke, Gary.
Yeah, I'm the king of dad jokes. My daughters do not think I'm cool at all, so I thought they might.
So,
think I'm
Doug, do you only have? Are you a girl dad?
I am, yeah. 9 years old and 6 years old, or actually, I'm sorry, 10 and 6
That's why
now.
we get along so well.
Yep.
You know, you just understand the women.
Yep, I do. Yep, and I get made fun
Are
of
they
every day
into
all day.
collecting?
No, not at all. Maybe a little bit of like Disney, Lorcana, or Pokemon, but that's about it. They think it's super uncool to collect cards. My 10-year-old says the only reason people watch me is for the cards, not anything to do with me. So that's her type of love language, is just ripping on me. So, but it's great. I've kind of created that. So,
She's 10.
yeah.
Okay, she'll be in love with you again in like 2 to 3 years. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think she still is, but that's her way of showing it right now, is being like ripping on me and calling me a like big head and all this other stuff that she calls me.
So okay, let me ask you this question: Do you guys follow Cage Lawyer or his podcast?
I have, yeah, a couple times.
He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
From Staten Island.
Is he an actually lawyer?
He is actually a lawyer, very educated. So I listen to only like 3 or 4 podcasts from the hobby regularly. I listen to Mojobreaks, you guys, Sports Card Radio, obviously. Hello, my men.
Yep, my dudes right there.
I listen to Mike Giuseppe,
Sports Card Nonsense.
Yep, so
with
do we.
Jesse. And I also listen to The Hobby with Cage. And I learned, I'm not going to lie, you guys are all talented and entertaining as hell, but I learned the most about hobby intellectually with The Hobby with Cage. So follow him if you want.
I got to check that out.
Yes, please do. He teaches me weekly with his little podcast. So anyway, today I listened to one of his latest episodes about Doug. You'll get this, about him and his daughter. And you should definitely listen to it.
Yeah.
You will gravitate towards it. Him and his daughter, I don't know her age. I would assume around the same age as your daughter, 10, 11, 12. And how desperately hard he's been trying to get her into the hobby with sports. And she doesn't want sports. She doesn't want Pokemon. She doesn't want Lorcana, none of that. And then all of a sudden he got her. He's just been trying. All of a sudden I don't remember the name of the show because I'm too old to watch that show, but it's like one of the new shows that came out. And he tried it with his daughter, and the daughter had an interest in the show. And I think Panini, or I don't know, it was Panini or Topps had these cards come out. And he bought her the box, which was like $700 into a gamble.
Jeez.
And she fell in love with the box. And she really gravitated toward the box, so much so that she immediately wanted a binder. She wants him to now buy her a binder to complete and collect the set.
Nice.
So that just shows you that it's not about being a boy or girl. It's just about finding what we're all passionate about and what we all gravitate
100%.
towards in terms of collecting. And I think that's a really good way to get women into the hobby.
Yep.
Yeah. Check that out.
Yeah, my little one likes to rip, but then she'll just forget about it. She actually pulled a like a $200 charge out the other day, and she was like, "Oh," like just waving it around. I'm like, "Let's get that in the top load and sleeve." You know what I mean? We can't be throwing that thing around. But she did a Lorcana video with me, and she's my like little actress. So she's the one that loves to be in front of the camera, dancing and stuff like that. So
is she into like Marvel, or how old is she?
6.
Okay, so not yet, but like I'm excited. I will say, for one, I'm excited for Marvel, and I heard Topps is gonna have DC now and Disney and all that jazz. So I'm excited. I don't know if you guys are excited. I am.
Definitely, yeah. I'm not a huge Marvel guy, but grew up watching Superman, Spider-Man, and stuff like that. So
this is literally my first ever Alex Giaimo collectibles item.
Oh, you have the autographs in there from Donald Duck and
Disney World 2000 autograph book.
That's sweet.
Okay,
Nice.
There's Goofy. There's, I don't even know I can't even read. Ariel. You can't see Ariel.
Yep.
So like.
So my daughters love Disney, and they actually do that. So they love that part. Yeah.
Piglet.
Pluto.
We all listen. I don't care how old we are. We all have a connection to Disney.
100%.
100 years old to 2 years old, and I think that Topps needs to take full on advantage of that. And I would love to talk more about that too. In the future. We all gravitate towards Disney movies, right?
Yeah, and
at any age.
Any age. I mean, I go see all the new ones now, so I mean, we love it. Girls love it. I mean, we've even like Inside Out 2, great movie. Love that.
Douglas,
movie.
I'm so glad you brought up Inside Out 2. I watched it last night.
It's amazing.
The scene with anxiety.
Yes.
When anxiety, she just loses her complete fucking shit. And she's just like, the scene where anxiety's there, the orange crazy woman, that's me. This movie was made for me. And then Dan, the scene, I don't know if Dan saw it, but they're like,
I saw the first one, and I don't know how long ago that was.
Oh, Dan, you have to watch the anxiety part. And they're like, it is one of the most not only articulate, but artistic and well-represented scenes about mental illness, anxiety, which I suffer from. I suffer from mental illness, which is anxiety. it represents it so well. And I've heard from my friends who don't suffer from anxiety or panic attacks. They said to me after watching Inside Out 2, I now understand sort of what you go through.
Hmm.
I'm so sorry.
I think they
So anyway, you
they
should watch
simplified
Inside
it
Out
a
2.
little bit more to make people understand, and that's what I love about taking my daughters to those kind of movies is that like there is kind of a message along with it as well. You know, even Red, you know,
Fabulous.
the Red with the big cat and stuff. There's
Yes.
a message there, right? So it's like it's cool. It's cool and they even loved Beetlejuice. I don't know if there's a message in that, but like we loved watching Beetlejuice. We went and saw that.
Did you like Beetlejuice too? I haven't seen it
Yes,
yet.
we loved it. I thought it was great.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was really good. Vintage
Okay,
Michael Keaton. Yeah.
I'm really excited to see. I don't know if you guys are into. I'm more of a DC girl. I love the Penguin on HBO
Oh,
right now. I don't know if
I've
you-
seen the first 2 episodes. Actually, really, really, really good.
Dude, it's fire.
Actually, it
So
made.
good.
I haven't seen the Batman with was it Robert Pattinson?
Yeah,
think-
I wasn't a huge fan. Of it.
I'm at because of the Penguin. I'm actually in the It's a 3-hour movie, so it's gonna take.
It's
a
kind of
little time.
boring. It's kind of boring.
But
I-
it actually motivated me to watch that because the Penguin is so good.
I was gonna say Trevor in the
It's-
chat mentioned Joker. That trailer looked fire with Lady Gaga.
So
on there.
Trevor, I'm glad I can't see the chat by the way, you guys. So if I'm not answering, it's because I can't see it. I also can't see the men. The Joker, I cannot wait for part 2 with Lady Gaga. I'm about to go pre-order, like the expensive $30 seats where you get the wine and the popcorn, the fried chicken. So I can't wait.
Is that like a package deal at your in New York?
And here in New Jersey, do you guys not have like the reclining seats?
We
where you're,
do,
like,
but like you don't get to buy the food as in one package and the drinks. Actually,
No,
they just started
no,
adding
no.
drinks in the theaters now. Like
No, but as
last
soon as
5
I
years
sit
ago.
down, the guy knows to come
they have
over.
bar. Like last time I went, there was a bar in the theater, but you couldn't take your drink into the theater.
You can now. Yeah.
You had to drink. I was like, why do I want to just drink at a bar in a theater? I'll just go drink at a bar that's not in a theater.
Right. 100%.
No, now, Dan, now they come to you.
Oh, sick.
It's like the only like place in the world you'll actually feel like a rich human being. It's like, all right, yeah, I will take the
He's-
fried chicken with the bottle of Pinot Noir.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. One last
Just gotta-
question
you
in
gotta tip well.
for the hobby here.
Yeah.
You've talked to a lot of athletes in the hobby, and we just had the Pete Rose. Are you seeing more and more athletes getting more involved in the hobby, talking about cards than you have, say, 5-10 years ago?
Honestly, yes, and I feel like you guys can agree with this. I do see more. Josh Young from
Yeah.
the Rangers. I've had a personal relationship with him, an appropriate one.
Yeah.
Well before he became now sort of hobby famous. He is, I've noticed. And you see Grant Williams now with the NBA and all those guys. And I do have men in the hobby, players in the hobby, whether it's MLB, mostly MLB or NFL, but mostly MLB. They do DM me and they do ask for an intro, whether that's to Golden or whether that's to MLB or like just to get some advice and guidance, which I think is hilarious. They want advice and guidance from me. It's really not that funny if you think about it. Like I do know more about the hobby than the average Joe
Right.
times 100. I just have sort of that public figure face that they find. And they
Well, that's
really
a that's a
are. lot
feather.
of them
that's a
are
feather
willing.
in the cap for sure, right? I mean, that's
Say
pretty
that
awesome.
again?
That's a feather in your cap. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I like that. It's funny turning the page. Like I did that with my father. Like he taught me all about baseball and how to play it and all about the game, and now I'm teaching him all about the hobby.
Yeah.
So it's like a whole total full circle moment. But I also experience that now with these MLB players. A lot of them reach out to me, especially from MLB Network, the show I'm on called Carded, which you guys were featured in the one of the recent
Yeah.
episodes. And they just like want to learn more, and it's not really necessarily it's not about the money. Like they don't need the money. These are people that are making millions of dollars a year. They don't need the money, but they really are interested in it, and they're gravitated towards it. And I think that's a really, really good sign and a very telling sign that Fanatics and Tops can do a lot more with these athletes, because I think ultimately that's why I got involved, to bridge the gap between the hobby and traditional sports, and to
Yeah.
tell the stories behind the players, the athletes, the games, and the items. So I do really, not to sound like Michael Rubin, but I do think the sky is the limit. I don't even think we have scratched the surface in terms of where the hobby can land, especially when it comes to transcending just the hobbyists and people
Mhm.
outside of the hobbyists, and bringing in the actual professional athletes. Like they want to be involved,
Yep.
but just like us and just like me, 4 or 5 years ago when I didn't understand the hobby lingo, they don't either. So now they're coming to people like me for information and for knowledge and for education. And I think I'm
And
one of those
I think that's
people
good.
that can have that. Yeah,
I
go
think
ahead.
that's good that you're approachable, because I think certain people that get in this hobby, you see it on forums, they don't want to ask questions because they don't want to look like a noob,
Exactly.
Yeah.
or they
Yep.
don't want to
And
say something
and a
wrong.
rookie.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we need more of that in the hobby to educate people, to say like, hey, no question is dumb. Let's help you figure it out. Like, because you see people going down the wrong path, buying reprints on eBay or buying fake autos.
Repacks.
They just don't know what they're doing, and nobody's there to coach them. And I think we need more ambassadors like that, not only for athletes, but for just here's the place where you can come and ask a dumb question, and experts will help you figure it out.
Agreed. I think it's most important that we have relatable people, first and foremost, that can relate with the athlete, with the hobbyist, and with people outside of the hobby that don't know, Joe from Jack,
Yeah.
to sort of make it more understandable, like the knowledge understandable, so everyone can sort of buy into it and love it like we do. But speaking of that, like, what do you think about repacks? I'm actually just curious. I know we got to go, but I'm curious about what your thoughts.
Oh,
As
that's
breakers,
It's a
you
good,
guys
it's
are
a good-
honestly, and this is one thing that we struggle, because we make repacks, but not as much as the rest. We really don't do that many, but we've always been completely transparent, where we've made every single box up front, and we number each box. And when we're performing a box or we're selling a box, we random through the boxes that remain, so that there's no, we're going to hold the Brady to the end, or we're going to make sure that the Shohei Ohtani doesn't come out until the end. So my problem with repacks right now is there's none of that going on. You jump on a feed, and this guy's got 5 repack boxes in front of him. You don't know if he just made it yesterday, if he just made it 2 minutes ago, if it's part of a 100-box run. Like, where is this coming from? Like, do you know what's in it? Like, that's my issue, is the lack of transparency in repacks. If it's
Yeah.
done right, then it's legitimate. But if it's done, like, especially when people are doing auctions, right? We're doing auctions on these platforms, and the breaker may know there's a $500 card in that box, so we're gonna let the bids go even like get up to 500, because they know they're safe if they buy
or
their,
or worse yet, they have people in there shill bidding their own auctions, knowing what's going to be coming out. So, I mean, what
Yeah.
Doug is saying is correct. I mean, it can be done properly, and there definitely is a market for it, and there's a demand. But it's all about transparency. It's
So
all
how do you guys give transparency then?
So we once everything's done, the run's done, before we sell a single box, we film ourselves numbering the cases, like
Oh.
on the phone, and have a timestamp. So I go to Dan's phone or whoever's doing it that day, and I'm like, all right, we're here on October 1st, and it's at 5 o'clock.
it
We haven't
works.
sold
It's
the
a
box yet.
little archaic, but it works.
And then we number them by hand, and then when the breaker sells that case, he uses random.org to pick between the cases that are available.
And then we will
Okay.
we'll have a sell sheet that we'll make internally that'll basically have like 20 or 30 of the potential cards that you can get out of the run. We won't do the full checklist, but we will do like 20 or 30 of
And
the
list the players that are
list
in
the
there.
players
Yeah.
and the teams that are represented and all that stuff. And we make sure that like every team is going to be represented. You're not selling a team that has 0 cards in the print run. So like let's say you're
Mhm.
doing a basketball and you have like the Atlanta Hawks, and you never packed out Atlanta. You know there's no Atlanta Hawks card in there, but you're still selling it like there is one. We don't do that. We make sure that every team is represented.
And it's really, I mean, it's honestly, it's hard to scale that way, because it's hard to make that many all at the same time. Where
Yeah.
the method of not being transparent is like, I'm getting in 100 cards from eBay. I'm going to put them in this box. We're going to do them tonight, and then I'm going to get another 100 in the next day. And so it's like that's what I think is going on.
Like what I think is also going on is that they're making repacks as they go. So they're like, I have 30 cards here. I'm going to repack them real quick, and then I'm just going to sell them. And then tomorrow I will do, basically is what you're saying. Tomorrow I'll do the same exact
Yeah.
thing. And this run will run. It'll go forever. And whatever I have laying around is what is going to be in my buybacks tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, where I get the ultimate cringe with these breakers now is like you'll log on to some, I'm not gonna name names, but they were talking about this on sports card nonsense the other day. Like you'll go in and they'll be like, "Oh, my dad's in the chat. My dad's in the break." And it's just like, how can you trust
Right.
that? Like, you're literally saying it. You might as well not even say it, but like, uh, to me, there's something fishy that I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think that I love breakers. You guys, we definitely need you in the hobby. And the other thing that I will say about breaking is I wish it was like, as much as I want to see you guys break, you're amazing, you're handsome, you're entertaining. I want it to go quicker. Like I
Yeah.
want to just I want to buy a new freaking pack of what update series for Paul Skeens in a couple weeks, and I want to be able to be like, all right, I want Fanatics Live to give me an update.
That's ready to go. Yeah.
Get in within 5 minutes or you'll miss. Like I don't want to be waiting. I don't want to be watching these dudes' faces for 45 minutes.
No,
and that's what we struggle. I mean, we manage what 11 breakers now, so that's a constant struggle.
We talk about
like
it all the time
there.
about keeping the momentum and keeping because nobody wants to go and do a live feed and just listen to somebody's mixtape essentially that they have like on Spotify. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
No, it's such a freaking buzzkill.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want to. Here's my money. Take my money, and then let me know like what I need to do next. That's where I hope that we need
to cut this and play this clip for our breakers.
Yeah,
be like this is generally how everybody thinks.
This is what everybody feels.
Yeah, like you guys are great, but like if there's a way we can speed this process up, so I need to look at you less.
Yeah.
You know what the worst is, and now we're on this topic, and I love we call ourselves a tangent podcast, but we're going on a tangent right now. Is when you go in there and the guy's like got some hip hop and he's like rapping it. That's like I just can't stand that.
I don't need to hear. I don't need to hear your flow, bro.
I don't need to hear you
like
do Drake.
The ultimate white guy from the freaking New Rochelle, New York.
And you may catch me singing too, but like I just can't stand when I'm watching somebody else sing. You know.
Yeah,
so,
no,
but.
It
it is total
You
cringe.
have two guys who just have straight on battle rapping. Is that still a thing?
Do an 8 Mile, something going. Yeah, that actually might be entertaining though. Then you might actually have some entertainment value. So
completely. Right.
Well, it's been a great year for you. What are your plans? What's 2024? What's 2025 look like for you?
Dude, if I had the answer to that, it would be amazing. I would sleep at night. Like I didn't go to sleep last night because I didn't know the answer to that question.
Right.
The hardest part about where I am right now in my career and my life and my livelihood is like I don't know. You know, I spent the last 2.5, 3 years focusing on the Golden Show and all that jazz and Netflix, and as great as it was torture as well because it was a lot of hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
And you don't make money doing that. At least I don't. And 90% of that cast works for Ken full time. I obviously did not, so I couldn't really do other jobs while filming that show. As great and fun as it was for me. So that was complicated. My MLB show is also really only happens during the baseball season. Now that that's over, it's like, there's a lot of other things going on. I'm probably going to get more involved with Topps Fanatics shortly.
Sweet.
Might have some things in the work with Darren Rovell and Collect.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Love
I would like to bring back to myself personally and bring to the hobby for the first time ever. Not that Darren hasn't done that with Collect yet, but my side of it. A lot of people don't realize that I did go to journalism school and that's my real traditional background. So I would sort of love to bridge the gap between traditional hobby and traditional broadcast media.
Absolutely.
And sort of tell those stories and perspectives from that view.
Mm-hmm.
But like the sky's the limit. I was supposed to have a meeting with Brandon Steiner today, but I didn't make it there because it was in Westchester and I slept long story short. There's a lot of things going on. As a freelancer, it's very convoluted and stressful, as you guys know. And my goal for 2025, are we even in 2025 yet? No, we're not.
No. Cody wrote these questions, so you can blame him. But that's what
Cody. But my goal is to just at least have a little bit more of a security job where I know, where it's not like so day to day. But
I guess the beauty in that
I get to do what I do. Like, look what I'm doing with you guys. Like, this was my job today. Like doing your podcast. That's
amazing. Awesome. We'll send the check. I was gonna say, but at least you're not complacent though either, right? There's so many people that have done something for like 20 years.
You mean by check? You mean direct deposit, right?
Yeah. There you go. ACH. No, but I mean, you see so many people, and we see even people in this hobby that are just they're complacent. They may have a stable job, but they don't like it. So, but so at least there's beauty in the fact that you can kind of pivot to everything that you want to do.
Yeah, that's my biggest piece of advice for anyone when they ask me about a lot of these, these little young reporters in the hobby where they get all these interviews with these freaking celebrities. I'm like, mother effer. They're like, what's your advice for me? I'm like, get out. You're taking my job here.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. But in all seriousness, they're adorable. They're great. But like my advice to them really in real life would be like, don't do this. Get out. You're only getting these jobs now because you're cute and little.
Yeah.
But when you're grown, it's a different story. There is more competition in my space than there is being a Netflix actress or an HBO actress. There are no jobs. There are the turnover is non-existent. I'm still watching here in New York the same women, which is great for them. But I'm still watching the same women that I did when I was 15 years old. You know what I'm
Jeez,
saying?
wow.
It's the biggest media market in the world, but there's two stations or like there's no it's different
Yeah.
from like where you guys are in California. You have a lot of local stations or all across the Midwest or whatever. So it's different. So it's a grind. And that's why I came into the hobby to sort of mix it up. And I think I can change it up. And I think I have. I think I've done a pretty good job so far. And I have actually, I'm not gonna lie, I will say this on myself. I need to work harder. I did get a little too complacent. I need to work harder and bust my ass. And I think that I can help take the hobby next level.
I think you get too, and I mean that's. I think all of us have that internal conversation. We go, anybody that's gets successful is you're never happy with what you got. So, you're continuing to grow and build and get better. So, I'm gonna get you some update. We're gonna break some update. We're gonna try to get some Paul Skeens. We gotta do that next. When that comes out, when is that coming out? Is that coming out next week?
Let's rip that live.
Comes out, I think, in a week. Yeah.
Okay.
Like literally in a week or a week and a
Yeah.
half. I'm so
Yep.
excited.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Sweet.
No, like I want to come on live and break that with you.
Yeah,
I
well,
wish
we
we
gotta
were
do that.
closer. I wish I was closer.
I know we couldn't be farther apart. I mean, unless we were in different countries, but we couldn't be farther
Why
apart.
did
in the
it
United
work
States.
out that I'm like my best friends in the hobby, like you guys, sports car radio, like all you guys are like freaking on the other side of the country. It's so frustrating, but I need to do a West Coast trip.
You got to be
Yeah,
you
what-
must be a Californian at heart, somewhere deep down there,
I am a little. No, I'm not. Come on.
Well, we got to come out there and try those meatballs on a football Sunday. I mean,
There we
that's-
go.
Let's
that's-
go,
There we go.
baby.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I'm excited for that. I'll ship them over to you. I'll freeze dry them.
Dude, I don't think I've had I mean, I've been going to I don't know if you guys have Trader Joe's out there, but that's where we get our meat. But they're probably not 10% as
Of
good as
course we
yours.
do. That's where you go because it's cheaper groceries.
Right. Trader Joe's has some of the best meatballs. That's where we get ours from. But
Oh, you mean the frozen kind?
yeah, see, they're
Wait,
probably terrible.
Douglas, you're telling me you're saying your meatballs are frozen?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
frozen meatballs.
Holy,
huh?
holy shit,
Nice.
gravy, Mary
Yeah.
gravy.
Yeah.
Oh, sweetheart. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I gotta.
You got to
come
show
home
me the way. You
and-
got to give me the
and
recipe.
doctor it up.
Or make
Holy
me them. Yeah.
shit.
Send them to me.
No,
freeze-dried.
because I'm gonna freeze my mom. I'm gonna play my mom this clip. She's gonna freak out and be like, "I need to save Doug and Dan." right now." so get ready.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't believe. Wow. So there's none of you are any Italian.
No. Nope.
No.
Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm Irish. What? I know you're Portuguese.
I'm Portuguese
I'm
and
ac-
Irish.
I'm 25% Irish, but sheesh, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we'll get there.
We're known for I make good, barbecuing, steaks, stuff like that. I mean, I'll try
Oh,
any
okay.
recipe once, but yeah, no meatballs in the repertoire. So I got to get that
Right.
in the repertoire. Got to show me the way.
I'm coming over. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Tell the wives. Tell the wives.
We got a new
Or hide
recipe
the
coming in.
wives.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm sure my wife would love a good meatball. I mean, if she likes the
Yeah.
Trader Joe's, come on now. The bar's set low.
No.
The bar's
Tell
set
her
low.
I'm coming to save her
Yeah.
immediately. It's really simple. It's very easy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
All right, Alex, you're a rock star. We appreciate you
Yeah,
coming
absolutely.
on and blessing us with your appearance here and coming on the show and talking Pete Rose and freaking all kinds of good stuff. So we appreciate you.
I love you guys. Can't wait to come back soon.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Thanks
See
for
you later.
having
Thank
me.
you.
All
All right.
right. Love ya. Bye.
Bye-bye. Love you. I'm always bad at hey, take care. Take care. Yep. So, but
Later.
are we going to do anything else? Are we done? Or what was you showed me your phone back there, Gary. I didn't know what that meant.
Just needed you to check a code sent to your phone.
Oh, okay. We're on the clock here. We've got,
Well, I'll tell you this. So,
I did not get that code.
what's
by the way.
going down in the hobby?
Well, to go into what we were going to talk about this week at the hobby, the 50th home run controversy, right? We have the ball, which is already past the $1.4 million mark.
Did you know that I was at that game that I actually had my hand on the ball?
That was you. That was you. Yeah,
So I obviously got to contact a Actually, you know what? No, I was just watching it on TV, and I'm like, you know what? I feel like I would have caught that.
Well,
If I was there, I would have caught it. So I better contact a lawyer and be like, look, if I was there, I would have got the ball. So where is my ownership? Where's my ownership of that ball? Cut me in. Cut me in a little slice.
I mean, if you watch the video, there was the first guy that kind of should have dove that it bounced past him. That was the guy that probably should be a little bit more upset, but obviously not his ball. The kid, it doesn't really look like he had it, other than that he went underneath the guy's legs.
Oh, he's in bad shape, Shane. What are you doing to the kid?
Uncle Ho over here.
He is.
He wanted to talk to Alex some more.
He
That's
is
what
very.
it was.
Look, I screwed up. The podcast was right in the middle of nap time, so he is. He's in a bad place right now. He really, really needs a nap. And
Oh, he's put him in the chair now. Maybe that's all he wanted. He's trying to tell Uncle that, like, hey, I just want to go to bed, man. But I don't think the kid should have had any kind of claim to this ball. I don't know if there's any other video footage. Sounds like just one of those guys that's, one of those kids that's gotten, like, the participation trophies, and just because he was in the vicinity of the ball that it should be his. Clearly in the video, I think that the dude, he has the ball underneath him.
Is that the guy that was the second lawsuit that came up, and that was the guy who said, I had my left hand on the ball, and there was basically somebody like
Oh, there is a second lawsuit now?
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God. I thought we were just talking about the kids still.
No, there is 2 lawsuits, 2 people. There's 3 people who are claiming to have the ball.
Oh my God.
That it's their ownership of that they own the ball.
How? Are they blind?
There's the kid. The kid was the first one to do the lawsuit. There's another person who came out and did a lawsuit where there's a video of him. He has his left hand, and he's like, I was getting basically punched in the ribs.
Oh my God.
And I had to let go of the ball. So he's like, I also am going to claim that I had the ball. So that's why that was my joke, man. My joke went unnoticed.
It went over my head because I didn't know there was a second person.
I was watching a game, and I'm like, I would have caught that.
That's crazy.
Like, I would have called everybody off.
Well, once he saw the thing went over 1 million, he's like, oh, let me call him up. I touched it for a second.
I do think there was, before it went to auction, I think there was a quick judgment against the kid that they were like, sorry, you don't own the ball. But now the other guy came in, and there was a second lawsuit, and that was while the ball was being auctioned off. Right. I don't think it's ended yet.
No, it's still got a long time, and it's at 1.4 million.
And apparently, what did the Dodgers offer him? Was it something?
300,000.
300,000.
You were trying to get him to not walk out of the park, but I think somebody on the team should have been like, we probably should have. Maybe if they would offer him like 750, they might have got the deal done. Or we're gonna get you 750, get to meet Shohei, and maybe he'll give you a sign something. And
did the Dodgers front office? They're like, well, this is the comp. This is the comp that we have.
Went on the old eBay.
Went on the old eBay. We're like, did they comp it against the 40-40 ball?
Probably.
I think they did.
Well, you know what's interesting? So in a statement at Los Angeles Times, they compared the case to the Barry Bonds 73rd home run, where a California judge ruled both men would sell the ball and split the earnings. So people are looking at, anybody that's involved in like court cases, and I'm no lawyer or anything. I'm not Cage's lawyer, but I'm listening to his podcast, is that if you have a preceding case, there's a chance. There's a chance that you can get this guy to have a 3-way split now. So that one, I think, was a little bit more like the person had it in their hand and the other person hit the hand. This one, I don't see any indication of one guy not having the ball.
Dude, look. Whoever left with the ball, it's their ball.
Yep.
The person left the stadium with the ball in their hand. They got in their car. The ball was in their car. They drove home. The ball was at home with them. They handed the ball off to Golden. It's their ball.
What? Okay, let's just
ball.
Let's just say hypothetically,
you can't be like.
What if you took the guy out? Like the guy's like, yeah, and you just punch him in the face, take the ball.
That's different. That's assault.
But you went home with the ball, according to Dan's thing.
Okay, well, is there footage?
Is it on camera? I was gonna say, is it on camera?
Is it on?
Is it on camera?
I mean, if there's a million cell phone videos of somebody punching somebody to take it,
you're done.
Again, I'm not condoning violence, but like you get that ball and you got to make a beeline. you gotta act like you're.
But don't you
Henry.
get
No, you're
Do
basic.
you need some bodyguards to get out of that place though?
You are like Mike Allstott back in the day, and you have two hands on the ball, and you're going over the goal line, and you're just like head down, and you're just running to the car, dude.
Now, do you go home or do you like think ahead of time of like?
I don't know where
Do
I
you
go.
think you throw people off just in case they're following you,
well,
right?
first off, I probably
Get two lefts and a right instead of two right to
okay,
the left.
So I
Go to a buddy's house.
I get in my car. I probably go to Taco Bell drive-through. I've worked up a little bit of an appetite.
But now you're stopped. Somebody could just come to your car in the window of the drive-through.
no one at
Somebody
Taco
could have
Bell.
followed you out of that stadium knowing that there's $1 million in your hand.
Maybe they're hungry. Maybe they're hungry. Maybe they're looking for the
Chalupa.
the Crunchwrap Supreme value box.
You gonna
Just,
trade the ball for like the whole menu or to own the store?
No,
basically,
yeah, you would go in there and be like, "Here's the ball. You now work for me. This is my Taco Bell."
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. It's crazy. And then shout out to Golden for getting this deal done and getting it on Golden.com. 1.4 million. I didn't think this thing would go past $1 million, to be honest with you, but we're looking like it might be 2-3 million.
Yeah, I was talking about it actually at the tailgate during the Rams-Niners game, and somebody was like, "Man, like that ball's like might be $1 million," and I'm like, I'm always like, probably not. I'm like, I don't think it's gonna. It could, but I'm like, I would have basically said 750, maybe $1 million.
First ever 50-50 ball, though.
I know, but like, what about when some dude in 3 years hits 60-60?
Fair point.
Or what if it's just like 50-60? Is that better or no? It has to be 60-60.
Look, what about in 50 years somebody goes 100-100? Like, we could do this all day, but like, I think the way I think 60-60, it might actually be Ohtani who does it in the next couple of years. He might do it again, but even if he does do it again, and he does, say Ohtani does 60-60, the 50-50 ball is not worth what it is.
Yeah. At
that point.
It isn't.
So I don't know. I think it's insane that it's at the price it is. I didn't think it was going to go over $1 million, but what do I know? I know nothing.
Couple more topics before we let you guys go. Also, if you want to check out mojobreakshop.com, we've got some amazing deals on wax that we just want to get rid of that's like way underneath. You might be able to get your flip life on. I'd go to mojobreakshop.com right now and find out those deals. But I wanted to bring this up. Anytime a big sports player passes, and we've had Pete Rose and, unfortunately, Dikembe Mutombo die in the same day. Pete Rose obviously is kind of getting a lot of the press here. But if you go on eBay, man, why do we do it?
Are you gonna tell me?
Why do we do it?
Is it
like,
Is it tried and true? It's like
it is.
We've been doing this for 16 years, and there's not one thing that pisses us off more than this.
Yeah,
and it just no matter how much we talk about it, it never stops. Put your Pete Rose stuff up on eBay.
If you want to sell it, that's fine.
Go for it. Go for it. You want to capitalize on it, whatever. I'm not hating. Don't put RIP in the title.
Don't do it. Can't do it. You're POS.
It is not adding any value to your auction.
No.
It's not doing anything. Nobody goes on to eBay in a search and goes RIP. No. I'm going to search RIP and see who died.
It kills me. Like these guys. It's like if I'm reenacting it, I'm like, oh, Pete died. Oh, let me go change my listing. I'm gonna put RIP in the title.
The thing that even kills me. The thing, because it's like generally it's usually a listing that is up currently. It'll be up there, and the player will pass away, and people will revise their title and put RIP in the title.
Yeah,
like. Yeah.
It's like profiting off of, I mean,
you're not even profiting though. You're just being a dickhead.
But no, then you're like, it's in bad taste that you're profiting off of death if you put RIP on the title. I understand if you've been speculating, you've been buying Pete Rose, and now you want to sell it. Just don't put Rip in the title.
What about if, to play devil's advocate, what if it's like people who are like, I'm showing respect to the player by putting Rip in the title? What if that is the comeback? They're like, I'm doing it to show respect for the human that passed away.
It just it knows that you've like. I could just assume that when it doesn't say Rip, that you've had the listing up there, and that's fine by me. But when you have Rip in the title a day after he passes away, I know that the money was on your mind when he passed away. That's what it tells me as a person. Like, if you don't put Rip in the title, then I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that you've been selling that thing for the last 5 years, never sold,
But
and
you
whatever.
think the consumer is looking at that title and going like, oh, crap, I didn't know Pete Rose passed away.
Yes.
I'm gonna buy this now.
No, it has nothing to do.
It doesn't benefit anybody. Whatever. Like, I think Doug and I are just gonna die on this hill now.
Yeah. Whatever.
It's ironic that in the same episode we had a Barry Bonds rant, and then we had the Rip in the title on eBay rant in the same
It's
title.
like the greatest hits.
Not the first time that's happened. You can go back in the 360 episodes, actually plus episodes, where I think we've probably talked about that multiple times in the same episode.
Yep.
So,
And once again, thanks to Alex for jumping on the show. Check her out. Great following on Instagram. Always
Absolutely.
compelling videos. So a must follow. And yeah, props to her for getting us on Carded, MLB Network's show on trading cards. And she was at Fanatics Fest. Funny story about that one is I had to sign a waiver to be on the video. And I was showing her some cards that we had for sale. There was a 101 Tony Gwynn and some Aaron Judge, stuff like that. We were talking about it. At some point during the video, I just completely sliced my finger open. I wasn't even aware of it. And I'm just sitting there walking around after the interview. And one of you guys was like, hey, you guys got, what's going on? And I actually thought maybe I put my hand, like I hadn't ate that day. So I'm like, did I put my hand in somebody's ketchup or something? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, dude, I'm just bleeding. So then my thought was, there's going to be MLB footage, or they're not even going to be able to use it because it's going to have blood everywhere.
you would have been the Kurt Schilling of the
The sports car, the bloody sock.
It would have been the bloody sock with the bloody finger, and they'd be like, "This right here is a dealer that fights through adversity,
Yeah.
and no
That was
matter
my
what,
moment.
no matter what is happening,
That was my
he
moment.
is here to still make the sale." Look at Doug go.
Yeah, just I guess at some point you get old and you don't feel that you're bleeding. I don't know. I mean, I'm not that old yet, but
No, I think the
definitely
show
happened there.
I think Fanatics Fest was so good that you had so much adrenaline coursing through your veins that you could have had your arm ripped off, and you would have been like, "I have no,
Still
girl,
jumping
girl,
around.
I have no idea. I love this event."
So, a lot of new releases this week, guys. We got Noir Basketball, which has Logo Mans in it too. The Logo Mans are in everything now with the end of the Panini run. Origins Football, Donruss Elite Football, and UFC Knockout. So make sure you guys check out Mojobreak.com for those upcoming breaks, as well as Fanatics Live, as well as Mojobreak Shop. We'll get into some Ginter checklists next week. I know that's on the topic, and of course some more football. But we're going to let you guys go for now. Make sure you follow us, Mojobreak_com. Follow Alex. Give her a follow on Instagram. And we'll see you guys next week on The Hype. Peace.